Hello and welcome to the Red Room. Today we aren't going to do some promotion.
And we're also not going to rant.
No, so it's not interesting. We're going to talk about something. Well, not quite promotion, but though it's connected to our Wretched games.
Yeah, we decided to start doing some videos about some teams that we like and how they connect with role-playing games. I know that when we did a couple of videos about our opinion about role-playing, there were a lot of people that loved it, and I'm being ironic. So yeah. So maybe the ones that will not get bored will just maybe be annoyed.
Let's make some enemies. So today we are going to talk about anti-heroes in role-playing games, which is obviously the theme for us, because that's how we started publishing games.
And that is the excuse for all Wretched.
Yeah, anti-heroes. Okay, I know it's not a popular concept, but I still think that there are some people who end up liking playing anti-heroes.
And I'm gonna have to make a stupid question, because I'm a stupid woman. Why are there not people that like playing? And I don't get it. Why is it not? Well, I love playing anti-heroes.
The thing is, Dungeons and Dragons and all those first games weren't geared towards playing that kind of character. The idea behind all that high fantasy was to play.
Yeah, I can get
heroic
kids
characters.
Probably like to be Superman.
Yeah,
normally they want to be the good guys.
So when people started playing, they were probably kids or teenagers, so they started playing, and then I think it stuck. I guess it was this because, well, then came other games that had nothing to do with that. Call of Cthulhu and Empire and even Traveler. You can play a character with a smuggler or something like that. So it's not really. But
yeah, in Vampire, you're not really gonna play a good guy, except if it's the new Vampire.
Probably there are people playing good guys, but the
vampires.
idea here is not playing anti-heroes and not good characters in any game, because obviously there are games that exist only to play anti-heroes, but fantasy usually that's not the idea. People do not think about playing anti-heroes in fantasy.
There's a cat on my feet.
Yeah.
Yeah, she wants to jump, but she has no space.
But the thing is, I think that most people end up playing not really the heroic characters they meant, because it's not easy, I think.
If you started first in D&D at first level, probably.
Yeah, well, I think it's difficult to play a heroic character. Well, every hero starts somewhere, but even those, well, there are ways.
You're not Luke Skywalker. You may want to play Luke Skywalker, but not really, because if you follow the rules, you're not going to be that special.
Probably. So that's why I was saying that it's not easy to play a heroic and a good character if you aren't powerful enough to just don't care. So you can.
And if you have the party filled with Luke Skywalkers, that's going to be a really boring game.
Yeah. So so we risked doing a anti-hero game, and while I don't think people will play that a long time, probably just a few game sessions anyway, but I think there's still some interest in it. So let's talk a little bit about our favorite characters who are anti-heroes in fiction.
And that can be used in
some examples,
role-playing games.
Yeah, because there are many characters, but not all of those can be adapted to Hero Stars.
I can start. Cool. So I think I already mentioned it, especially when we wrote Wretched. So one of my biggest influences for fantasy is the Witcher series. Not just the computer game, although I did play the computer game before, but the books. The books are really good.
Definitely not the TV show.
No, not well. The Polish TV show. It's
kind of.
Yeah, the first one. The new one, it's awful. I'm sorry, but I can't stand it. Well, the books, they are different because they are written by a Polish author, and I think the fact these influences are different. Everybody that knows the games and the TV shows probably is already familiar with The Witcher, but I really like the Geralt He's a great anti-hero. He's not the good guy, and he never wants to be involved in politics, but he always ends up getting involved in the middle of everything, although he doesn't want to. He tries to be neutral. Well, you can never be neutral. But in the idea, what is a Witcher? So it's a guy that everybody hates because he's a mutant, a freak, and he basically kills monsters for money. So even if we think that Geralt is a little bit more heroic than the normal Witcher, but still the Witcher as a class and as a character concept is a bit wretched and sleazy.
Yeah, and well, the computer games, you can decide how you're going to play them. So
yeah, you can be good, better, or you can be a good guy or a bad guy. You can choose. I'm not going to say you can choose the good guys or the bad guys because it depends.
No choice, but,
no, but it depends. I'm thinking about the second game. You can decide in which if you want to side with Squirtles or with the humans. But really hard to say who are the good guys and who are the bad guys. I know this is an unpopular opinion, but it's just a matter of opinion.
Yeah, in the Witcher universe,
everybody's evil and everybody has their there's something that also it's like Game of Thrones, and I like that part that is political, so everybody has an agenda and nobody is really good. Even the people that are pretending to be really good, they all have their goals and their agenda, and they're trying to go over their interests. That's a bit hard when you're running a role-playing game. So if you have a party and each of them has their own interests and they are not coinciding with each other, it's hard to run a game like that, but it can actually be interesting, I think.
There are people like that.
Yeah, but people that hate that.
Yes, but I think it's a nice way to get some reactions, and the game master doesn't have to work so much, because if people are working against each other, it's basically the game master is there to be a referee.
That's probably why I like it, because I'm a lazy game master.
Yes, of course.
But let me just say, if nobody read the Witcher books, I recommend just this one, The Last Witch. It's the first in the series and it's an anthology of tales. So if you don't read it, you can at least read this one.
That's the one I read, because
the only one you read.
I started the first book in the series, but I didn't quite like it. The anthology is more interesting than, well, at least the way it started, it was.
There's a lot of tales that are like folklore tales.
Yeah, I like that.
And fairy tales
being adapted fairy tales. It's interesting, and it's wretched, a bit wretched. Now it's my turn. This is Captain Alatriste. There's a movie also.
And I don't know.
Yes,
and the TV show, but it's Spanish and not very good.
Yeah, the TV show is not really good. The film, the movie with Viggo Mortensen. I don't know if I'm going to recommend that. Probably people have seen it. There's an editing problem. They tried to put too much in the same movie, and they didn't. They weren't very good at editing, so there are some problems there.
Yeah, I think if you don't know, I think I saw the film twice. The first time but the first time I hadn't finished reading the books, and I didn't understand the story.
Yeah,
it has some jumps.
It's difficult to understand if you haven't read the books. So this is the first one. It's called Captain Alatriste. This is, of course, this is Spanish because it was written by a Spanish guy called Arturo Pérez Reverte, who wrote other interesting books. Maybe we could also recommend The Fencing Master.
Yes.
And I could recommend everything, but
O Tango da Guarda Velha. I don't know how that is called.
I don't know. I have no idea.
I have no idea how that's called in English.
I could try to say it in Spanish.
Yeah,
okay. In English, I don't know. I don't even know if it was published in English, because the latest books. And there are also some, no, but probably the El Ajedio wasn't also translated. So
okay. El Ajedio was not, for sure.
Okay, the Hussar was. So
the Falco. No, not Falco. Yeah, Falco.
Yeah, Falco was. Yes,
and that one is also a good one.
Those one. But those are different. So this one can be, even though this is a historical novel, 17th century novel, when Spain was at war with Holland, no,
Flanders at the
Flanders,
time.
Flanders. When was it? There was a war between Spain and Flanders, and
It was when they had the emperor, and we were
Empires,
Spanish, the empire.
we were part of Spain. Yes, it's a very interesting period of Portuguese history. We didn't exist at the time. We had existed before, and then we existed again, but not at that time. Captain Alatriste isn't really a captain. He replaced the captain for
He's a soldier, or
just,
he used
yeah,
to be a soldier. He's not a soldier
yeah, not
anymore.
really
He's a retired soldier.
Sometimes goes on missions, but I think he was leading whatever it was, squad. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm thinking of the
Because the captain died and he replaced,
Franco.
something like that. Yeah, he replaced the captain who had died, so people started calling him the captain, but he was never a captain. He's a wretched guy. Definitely, Alatriste is definitely a bad. He's not a bad guy, but he's really not a good guy. He's
he's an anti-romantic hero.
Yeah, I'm going to start by reading the first lines that says everything about it. He was not the most honest or pious of men, but he was courageous. His name was Diego Alatriste Tenorio, and he had fought in the ranks during the Flemish Wars. When I met him, he was barely making ends meet in Madrid, hiring himself out for 4 maravedis in employ of little glory, often as a swordsman for those who had neither the skill nor the daring to settle their own quarrels. So basically, this says everything about the guy. He had no money. He was courageous. He had his kind of honor, but he wasn't well liked, and he wasn't honest, and he wasn't pious. So basically, he was a scoundrel, and that's an interesting way of introducing a character. The book explains immediately that guy is maybe he's likable, but not entirely. He's not a hero, definitely. And the whole series.
He's not a nice guy. He's very serious.
No, yeah, he's very cynical, and he doesn't talk too much, and he's not a charismatic hero. Throughout the series, I'm not sure how many books this is. 10 books.
I'll say 10, 12.
I think. Somewhere around there. It's always like that, and this is interesting because this could be a campaign, a role-playing campaign. There's kind of a party.
Yes.
He's the leader. We should say that. There's the poet. Yes, a real poet, a real Spanish poet, and can't remember his name now.
Yes, a kid that is the narrator, and then he grows during the series.
And then there's a series of characters. Some of them die during the series, but some of them they are the ones in the movie are the most
ones that stay
most relevant. Yeah,
there's a Portuguese.
There's a Portuguese guy. Yes, there are about 5 or 6 that. Sometimes appear. They don't appear in all books, but
he has an enemy that is like him, an Italian that is like him, but worse. Is Malatesta.
Malatesta.
He's really a villain. He's not just a scoundrel. He's a bit like Alatriste, except that he has no honor. Yeah, it's just that he has no honor. So yes, exactly. And Alatriste has these codes of honor that the other guy doesn't have.
But in the book, the end part, when
they are almost friends. They are enemies, but they are.
They have that.
They never kill each other because they can never. I think they. I don't remember.
Eventually dies.
Yes, but if one of them kills the other or not,
I'm not sure. I don't think so. I think it's the kid that kills the Malatesta. These are spoilers, of course.
Nobody's gonna remember.
But then there's 10 or 12 books, I'm not sure, but during that time there's the story starts in media res, but then they go back and forth.
Yeah, and most of the time he's working for not exactly the king, but the prime minister or some important people. Exactly, he's doing their dirty laundry, so doing the. And sometimes he gets in trouble because he decides to do things his own way, and sometimes not just doing what he was paid to do. And sometimes they send him how can I say it? Just to die. Basically, they're trying to set him up to get rid of him, but he always finds a way to escape.
Yeah, he dies in the end, but well, he doesn't die in the end because he never really dies. But
We all
the
know that
kid
he's going to
is
die.
writing
Yes, the kid is writing,
when
and it
he's
does.
already an adult or an old man. I'm not sure how old is he, but he's writing about old things, so that's why.
Yeah, he's always talking about Captain Artistic death,
Yeah,
but he never
because-
really gets to talk about the day he dies. Because
Yeah, I
if he
don't
do
think
that,
so.
the story would
I don't
end.
think, I'm not sure if the last book told I don't think so. Probably, but maybe the story hasn't ended yet. So this is recommended, very recommended. So especially if your players haven't read it, so you can take ideas from here. Though it's historical, there's no problem. You can use it.
Yeah, you can
anywhere.
adapt it to fantasy,
Just don't-
especially if
just
it's.
don't call it Spain and Flanders. Just call it something else. Okay, so next time we'll talk about something else. And it's all for today, I
Yes,
think.
all for now.
Okay, bye bye.
Bye bye.